What's up guys, Andrew aka the Gloctopus here with Gloctopus Reviews, and this week I'm bringing you a review on the Accufire ATRO 8 LPVO. Super nice optic. If you guys want to see more optic reviews like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to my pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to get into this tabletop review of the Accufire Technologies Prospectis ATRO 8. That's going to be their first focal plane 1:8 by 24. And it's a really cool little optic that they've got coming out of Accufire. First things first, when you're working on your weapons, make sure that you have a clear weapon, no ammunition in the same room. Make sure that is your first safety check all the time, guys. We've got a clear weapon here. First thing I'm going to do is take this optic off of my Foxtrot Mike 11 1/4 bufferless rifle and get a little deeper into this optic with you guys. So let's get this off. Alright guys, what we've got here is the Accufire Technologies Prospectis ATRO 8. Again, like I said, this is going to be their first focal plane 1:8 by 24. It's a really nice little optic. I've got this mounted on my Midwest Industries QD mount. This is their 30mm mount. The reason I chose this mount is because obviously I can take this off really quickly with these two little QD latches. But what Midwest Industries says is that you can take this off your rifle and put it back on, and this will actually hold zero. I have not tried that yet by taking it off. I just did now. I'll put that back on and I'll report back later in a separate review to see if this does actually hold zero, but that's a cool little option and why I put it in here. We're going to go over a little bit about this rifle scope. This is a 30mm tube. The eye relief on this scope is going to be about 3 1/4 to 3.5 inches. The field of view at the lowest magnification, which is going to be the 1, is going to be 100 yards. And the field of view at that's going to be 100 yards and 120 feet. And then the field of view at the highest magnification, which is the 8, is going to be 15 feet out to 100 yards. The adjustment graduation on the turrets here on the windage and elevation is going to be 1 mil, and the travel per rotation is going to be 10 mils. The max elevation adjustment is going to be 50 mils, and so is the same going to be for the windage. Really nice, guys. The length on this from front to back is going to be 259 millimeters. The total weight of this is going to be 550 grams. And this is, again, like I said, a first focal plane optic. Getting a little deeper into this, you do have the illumination turret here on the side, and again, you have the windage and elevation turrets here on the top and side as well, again with the zoom throw lever here in the back. First off, the field of view on this is really nice. It is a fixed parallax out to 100 yards. Accufire, when you get this, they send you this nice little box. Inside of the box, you're going to get the Accufire Performance Guarantee. You're going to get a nice little cleaning cloth for your scope. And the scope actually comes inside of this box. I've already taken it out, of course, and the battery's in this little slot here. I've got my own little batteries, but they do include one for you here in the box, which is really nice. I'm going to read you a little bit about the Accufire Performance Guarantee. The card says, the last thing any shooter needs is an equipment failure in the field. In the event that the Accufire rifle scope becomes damaged or inoperative, we will replace the optic with one of equal or greater value at no cost to you for the lifetime of the traditional rifle scope, and for 3 years with our electro optics. So they do have a really cool lifetime guarantee on their optics, guys. Go ahead and take this card out and read it. It's got some really nice information on what you need to do when you're going ahead and filling out a warranty on these optics, if you do in fact need to do so. Back to the optics, guys. The glass quality on this is really nice. It is pretty clear. The edges do get a little fuzzy in the 8 times zoom, 8 magnification, and down here in the 1 you get a little bit of parallax here on the edge. It's not super bad. I'm gonna put the reticle right here on the screen, guys, where you can see. I like to call it the Christmas tree reticle. It's gonna be their CQB fast reticle, so it's got the large circle on the outside, as you can see, and in the middle it kind of looks like a Christmas tree. That's what I call it. Those are gonna be mil radians. Mil radians are generally measured at about 3.6 inches at 100 yards, and the adjustments can be dialed in here on the windage and elevation at 0.1 mrads per click. If you guys are looking for a difference in mrads and mils, that's going to be kind of the difference between inches and centimeters. So it depends on what you're used to using and what you've trained with. That's just what this optic has on it, guys. A little bit about the illumination turret here. The illumination turret on the side has 11 settings. It goes from 0, or you can crank it up once to the 11. One thing I do have to note with this illumination turret is I do wish there were half clicks between each of the brightness numbers. Instead of having to go from, say, a 5 or 6 here on this side and then having to crank it all the way back around to 0 to turn it off, there are other optics that do have the half clicks built into the illumination knob. So that's just one thing that I would prefer if it was on this model, but it isn't. It isn't a killer for me, but that's just something I wanted to note. The battery is a CR2032 battery, normal little flat washer batteries that you can find at the store. To get that in here, you just take off this cap with the Accufire logo on the side. As you see here, I've got my Duracell button batteries in. That slaps right in with the positive out to the outside, and you just tighten this cap right back on, and that's it, guys. No having to take the optic off to change the battery or anything crazy, so that's super nice. Let's get into the turrets a little bit. You've got the elevation and windage turrets. One thing with these, when you are zeroing this scope in on your rifle, there's a cool thing built into this from Accufire, and I'll show you now. Say you do zero this and you do see your zeroing numbers here on, let me see if we can get those on camera, right there on the side of the turret. What you're doing is you pull this turret up, really tactile. When you pull it up, then you get your clicks to the left or right. Solid clicks, guys. This thing is very tactile, nice feel when you're going left or right on that. It's no guessing game as to if you have adjusted this or not. But back to what I was talking about, what you can do is after you have this zeroed, you can actually take a flathead screwdriver, and there is this screw right here on the top of the turret. Take that out and you can set that to the side and be super careful, guys. You can pull your turret off from where it was, and then you've got this O-ring here on the inside. Be really careful not to lose this O-ring, but you can turn the turret back to 0 to line up here with the 0 mark on the side of the turret base, and you click that back down, and that will actually show that your scope is in 0 from where you set it. So if you're making temporary adjustments to this scope in the field, if you're having to make adjustments because of wind and range, you can always turn that back to the 0 because you have taken your cap off and put it back in the position of 0. So it's a good reference point. That's what I did with mine. I have these set, so I can crank this all the way over to 2 if I want and come back to the 0, and that's going to be the 0 that I set on this scope. So super, super nice, guys. As far as reticle brightness on this reticle, the brightness at an 11 is pretty bright. It's not daytime bright. It is not a problem for me. It could be just slightly brighter, but when you do crank this over to the 8x zoom, the reticle is nice and big and fat in the window here, guys, and it looks nice. There's no mistaking it. When it's smaller, you do have the CQB circle, so it's really nice. Moving on, as far as the eye relief on this, it is, like I said, 3¼ inches. It is pretty nice. You do need to make sure that you are setting this up according to the eye relief that you need on the rifle you have this on. You also have this awesome diopter that they have built in here where you can change the sharpness setting for each shooter depending on where you need to set that, especially when you're using this in the 8X configuration. Also, guys, talking about the zoom throw lever, the one thing I do note about this throw lever is a little hard to throw. It is not gritty or grimy when you're trying to turn this, but it is just a little hard to where you have to use a little more force. It's not a killer for me at all. Just one thing I want to note about this this zoom throw lever. As far as battery life, guys, you are going to have to turn this off. This is not a red dot optic where the battery life is going to last forever. So that is why I was saying I do prefer those half clicks on the illumination turret. As far as everything else on this optic, guys, I do like that it has a little bit of length here in the front. I'm able to put my Reptilia Core ROF SAR mount. This is going to be a RMR footprint on their little mount that is for 30mm tubes. So I'm able to put my Trijicon RMR here in the front so I can have something to use at close distances, especially if I have this zoomed out to 8x. I'm able to have something that I have here for CQB, which is mounted in the 45-degree position. So this is what it would look like. And it actually mounts up really nicely here between the turrets. So I'm able to just turn my pistol to the side and I'm able to get that red dot. You can see it there on screen really nicely between the turrets. So awesome option that I can throw this on this LVPO. As far as the warranty, we talked about that in the beginning, guys. They throw this warranty card into the box. Go ahead and give this a read. If there's dings or scratches on this thing and that's the reason you're sending it back to them, they're probably not going to warranty it for you guys. Make sure it is an issue with the windage, the elevation, just the reticle, anything like that. They'll go ahead and take care of you guys. The reticle is etched. I'm going to put that back on the screen one more time right here. The CQB fast reticle. So if you do not need the illumination during the daytime, the reticle is super clear and it looks really nice. It's black, and like I said, it's got the 3 fingers that kind of bring your eye back to the center of the reticle, especially if you get a little bit of wander. As far as lubrication or cleaning, this is internally lubricated, so you do not need to do any lubrication yourself on this scope. So keep in mind, do not take it apart. You take this apart, they're probably going to void your warranty over at Accufire. So just a warning, guys, don't lubricate it, don't take it apart. It's already done. As far as cleaning, guys, you can do a little very routine maintenance other than just a little bit of exterior cleaning on the lenses. You can grab a lens pen from over at Amazon.com. I'll put a link in bio or link in description as well for that. You can scoop one of those. They're super cheap. Usually they're like 14 bucks. You can get the more expensive Leupold one, but there is ones that they work for cameras and they work for optics. It's got a little compound built into a cap that you unscrew. You take that little brush head that comes on a little flat brush head, stick it in there, and you can rub it around actually on the optic on both sides, and that will get fingerprints off or anything else off. Or you can use a little bulb, camera bulb, which squeezes the air onto the lens and can blow a lot of that dust out of there. So those are a couple good options that you can use. Don't use really any liquid cleaners or any abrasive chemicals. That will damage the coatings on these lenses. So be careful, guys. Make sure you're using something that is meant for optics and optics alone. I'm going to go ahead and get this packed up, guys, put it back on my pistol, and we're going to give you a solid rating and review on the Accufire ATRO 8. Alright guys, I'm going to give you my solid rating and review on this Accufire ATRO 8. My rating is going to be a 7 out of 8 Glocktopus arms. I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. One is going to be the illumination turret on the side. Like I said before, I wish it did have the half-click increments on it, to where instead of going from a 5 or 6 all the way back to a 0 to turn it off, you would have those half indicators, which actually turns it off between the brightness display numbers. That's one thing. The second thing with this was the zoom throw lever. It is just a little harder than I would like to throw this zoom over from the 1 magnification over to the 8. But other than that, guys, this rifle scope is built very nicely. Clear glass, the edges do have a little bit of parallax in it, but other than that, this is a very nice optic. The warranty that Accufire gives you, the lifetime warranty, is super nice. Everything that comes in the box, the brightness of the reticle is nice as well. So if you're looking for an LPVO to pick up, this is a good option to pick up. There's tons of these things on the market, guys. I know everybody is making one of these. A new company is popping up every day that has an LPVO. Check these guys out, Accufire. They're really cool. If you ever have an issue with these, you can contact them and they will go ahead and take care of you. Really, really good guys over there. If you guys have any questions or concerns about what you saw in the review today, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you guys are looking where to pick up one of these optics, you can go ahead and click the link in bio or link in description. That's going to take you either over to glocktopusreviews.com or to my link tree. You can click the Accufire link and that's going to take you over to the website where you can pick up one of these optics. If you guys like this review today, go ahead and give it a thumbs up on Instagram and YouTube. That'll help me out with the algorithm and get my video out to more people. If you guys want to see more cool optic reviews like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to my pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On Instagram and YouTube, make sure you're clicking the notification icon. That's going to be the bell icon up in the corner. That'll get all of my newest content over to you as quick as possible. As always, guys, stay healthy, stay safe. Check you guys later.